Thank you everybody for tuning in one more time to the San Dimas Wine Shop and Tasting Room video for the week of grilling and chilling. If we can get past this May gray, then hopefully we will be able to get into some real nice good summer weather. And we have got a great lineup. It's all about grilling and chilling. So stay tuned and I'm going to show you some great wines. So first up on the list, we go over to the Rhone Zone. Now the Rhone Zone always covers from about San Ynez or Santa Barbara, Santa Maria, all the way up into Paso Robles. And the reason they call it the Rhone Zone is because there's a lot of great Rhone varietals that come out of that region. And one of the great Rhone varietals that I like is a Grenache Blanc, which is, this is the 2011, this is the Celadon Grenache Blanc. This comes out of Mesa Verde Vineyard, out of San Ynez, which of course is in Santa Barbara County. This is 100% Grenache Blanc, 6 months on neutral oak. It does have these notes of a little bit of furniture polish, maybe some beeswax. It's also floral and a little bit citrusy as well. Talk about going great with grilled chicken and grilled fish. This is definitely a wine that you want to chill deep, take it outside, and then while you're cooking your chicken and your fish, this is definitely what you want to be drinking. And next up we have got the 2011. This is the Cardin Merlot. Cardin's a brand or a label that we've been carrying now for probably going on 6 months, maybe close to a year. This is all Napa Valley Merlot that comes out of the Oak Knoll Vineyard, which is an estate vineyard. It's 100% Merlot. It's partially aged in new French oak, which I especially like and especially appreciate. And it's got these notes of like this really nice fresh plum, which I think is essential when you're talking about Merlot. And then if I was to pair it with something, I'd probably go like a grilled filet mignon or even a marinated tri-tip. And especially if I was going to do something marinated or either powder dried, I'd want to do something that was like had a Moroccan flavor to it. I think that'll go really, really well with this Cardin. So here's a new label that we've been carrying just lately, which is the 2012 Cannonball, which is put out by Cannonball Wine Company. It's a Cabernet Sauvignon. It's got California as an AVA, but the majority of the fruit does come from up north, up from the Bay Area. It is, like I said, 100% Cabernet Sauvignon, 15 months on oak, of which 35% of it is new, which is a great combination. And think about like bell pepper. It definitely has a bell peppery taste, so I'm thinking maybe some of the fruit probably comes from Sonoma because it's got that coolness to it. It's fruity, but then it's got this really nice cherry pie kind of vanilla finish to it, which once again I truly appreciate. If I was to do something like this, I'd be thinking like cumin lamb chops. Super easy, just do grilled lamb chops. You can cut them in twos on the ribs if you were gonna do like a French style. And then just add a little bit of cumin, some salt and pepper to it, and you'll see how good that tastes. Or you could even do a grilled burger. I think with this would be really well. It'd go really well if you just did just a regular old hamburger patty and then also did a little bit of cumin on top. And I think you'd be really surprised at how well that goes. And next we are going to go over to the hillsides of Delardèche, France, which is in the northwest region of the Rhone Valley. This is the 2009 La Selve. This is the Serra de Berti. This is primarily Syrah. It does have 60% Syrah, 30% Merlot, 5% Grenache, and 5% Cinsault. It's fermented, get this, in concrete and steel, and then aged 24 months in oak, which I think is just another great combination. I love this wine. This is a wine that we brought in for the wine class, and I loved it then, and I tasted it again this morning, and I absolutely love this wine. I think the majority of people are really going to say, even if this isn't your favorite wine, you will say this is definitely the most complex wine of the tasting. It does have these nice silky tannins. It's got cassis. It's got this really nice leather. And for those of you that have never grilled a leg of lamb, you can get them a whole leg of lamb. You can get it almost anywhere. I would just grill it nice and slow. Once again, I do some nice cumin and Syrah love each other, so that's why that's also another good pairing that would go really well with this. But then Syrah, if you add something that's got a little pepper to it or a lot of pepper to it, it can handle it because it likes really gamey meats. So I would do this with lamb burgers, I would do this with buffalo burgers, I would even do this with hamburgers as long as you spiced it really, really well. Also goes great with bratwurst if you're into bratwurst, all right? So Please enjoy this. When you taste it, just really sit back and say, I feel how complex this wine is. And next we go over to the Yakima Valley in Washington. This is their red wine blend, the 2012 Owen Rowe red wine blend, 45% Merlot, 33% Cab Franc, and 22% Cabernet Sauvignon. It spends 10 months on French oak. What's not to love about this wine? Cab Franc is one of those wines that it does take the back seat to either Cabernet Sauvignon or Merlot, but depending on the quantities that you put it in, it kind of can take kind of this bell peppery taste to it, which I absolutely love. Goes great. Actually, I would do this with a pizza. If for any of you that want to do like a vegetarian pizza, put this right on the grill, because Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot, and Cab Franc all like tomato sauce. And when you put a little bit of bell pepper, it really brings out a lot of the flavors of this wine. Now, this wine's got the notes of baking spices, anise, peppercorn, and then also I would do smoked meats with this. And I would even include smoked salmon in this. Smoked salmon has got enough fat to it that I think would absolutely mirror or image this wine really, really well, because this wine wants a full-bodied meat. It does not want a lean-bodied meat. So, enjoy. And last but not least on the tasting is Tempranillo that comes from Umpqua Valley, which is in Oregon. This is the Abyssella. This is their 2012 release, and a lot of you might be thinking, why is Tempranillo down at the very end? And Tempranillo typically oftentimes I should say, typically is a lighter bodied wine, but this one is much more heavy bodied. It's got some grip to it. It definitely has got some tannins, which tells me that the skins were in contact with the juice for a long time. They probably put some stems and seeds in the fermentation as well in order to get that nice, that nice grippy texture that goes great with lamb, grilled ribeye. For those of you that are looking for that steak pairing, this is it. I would also pair it with paella and maybe even a little bit of grilled pork. But it's got those classic cherry notes of Tempranillo, which I think is important. It's got that sour cherryness to it, hints of spice, and it's even got like this nice leather and tobacco finish to it that I think just really lends to the complexity of this wine. And coming right around the corner in 2 weeks, we start our blind tasting class, which there's been so much feedback about this that I can't wait to teach it. But let's start out with the prices. $25 for members, $30 for non-members. Starts on June 6th, which is a Monday, 2 weeks from now. 4 weeks. Make sure that you sign up for the class. Make sure that you come in and reserve a seat, because I do think that, one, it's probably, we're going to try and seat as many people as possible, but at one point we will sell out. So make sure that you reserve your seat. The first week is going to be all about component tasting. The first week is going to include what do ripe raspberries smell like versus crushed raspberries versus green raspberries. I'm going to show you how to smell all that, and we're going to do it blindfolded so that this way you can create a little bit of a sensory memory to it, which I think is important if you're going to be a good taster. But from there, we're going to learn what is, through deductive tasting, we're going to learn what's hot climate, what's cool climate, what grows in such regions, what's the difference between American oak versus French oak, and I'll show you how to taste those so that you can say through deductive tasting and say, I think that this comes from Napa Valley Cabernet Sauvignon, and I think that it's probably a 2010 vintage. That's the goal of where you should get with this. And even some of you, I think, will even be able to tell the house that it came from. So I'm really excited about teaching you all of this. It's not something that you're going to master by the time 4th week is done, but you will have gained enough knowledge to be able to practice it on your own, or practice it here at the shop, or practice it here with me. I'll be more than happy to do so with you. So cheers, look forward to seeing you all, and happy grilling and chilling.